Prosperity in hard times. First, I want to establish some truths. Truth number one is that it is God's plan and God's will for you and I to walk in prosperity. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper, be in health even as thy soul prospereth. He did not only wish it, he went ahead to make a way for us to walk in prosperity. So he made provisions for you and I to walk in prosperity. For what is the Lamb that was slain who went to receive for us power, riches. So your salvation package includes riches. Truth number two, hard times didn't start now. It has always been there. There was famine in the days of Abraham. There was famine in the days of Isaac. There was famine in the days of Jacob. Hard times have been there before now. So you are not just seeing a collapse of economy now that is a surprise. It has always been there. And the reason it's always been there, and it will always be there until Jesus returns, is because why? Anything man does is temporary. The economy of man is temporary. Anything established by man is temporary. Only God doeth what is forever. And truth number three, God prospers even better in hard times. For God's economic system is not dependent on man's system. There is no economy in the world that can stop God's supernatural supply. So when things are hard is when God actually prospers. So prosperity in hard time is a reality. It is very possible. Very, very possible. How do I come out of hardship and prosper? To prosper in hard times is simply to stand in a place of superiority and see the lies as clear as it is. Therefore, the key to prospering in hard times is spirituality. You must understand that money is a spirit. You can't have money if you are not spiritual. You must stand from a higher point of view. You must see things from a higher level. For the Bible says, God speaking, he said, my ways are not your ways, neither are my thoughts your thoughts. As the heaven is higher than the earth, so are my ways and my thoughts higher than yours. You think there is lack because you are seeing from the standpoint of lack. Why do you think that even in hard times there are people still prospering? Because spirituality is the key, sir. A man who is not spiritual can't prosper, whether negative spiritual or positive spiritual. You must be spiritual. Spirituality is the key. That's why Job said, he said, listen to me, I prospered, became the greatest of the men in the east because I did not fall into their lies. I had the secret of the Lord upon my tabernacle. I was able to see through the secrets that there is nothing called lack. I was able to see through the secrets that there is nothing called hard times. Every time is the good time. Why do we need spirituality? Number one reason why we need spirituality is faith. Prosperity in this kingdom, especially in hard times, is a product of faith. You need faith not to be swayed by the world. You need faith not to be deceived by the world. You need faith to stand firm in God. You need faith to constantly pursue and do the covenant. For man's bailout in hard times, economic crunch, is the covenant. You need faith. Hebrew 11 and verse 6. He said, for without this faith, it's impossible to please God. Then if you can't please God, how can God give you the resources? Those who please God eventually becomes rich in God. And only your faith can please God. Why spirituality number two? Only the spiritual can walk in obedience. That's why. Obedience is a vital key to prosperity in hard times. You have to hear God by faith, and you have to obey in order to see what God is showing you. Faith is hearing God, then spirituality now takes you to obedience of that hearing that you heard. For if these people be willing and obedient, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasure. You need obedience, and only the spiritual can be obedient. Obedience to tithing, obedience to offering, obedience to divine instruction. Your lack of spirituality is what is making you not to walk in obedience. And as long as you are not obeying God, you are not seeing the resources of heaven. For the resources of heaven is not bound by any man's economy. Your lack is a product of your disobedience. And your disobedience is a product of your carnality. And your carnality is the mother of your destruction.